How did I end up in Canada? Isn't it sad, dark, gloomy and cold? Today we are going to answer that question and every question you asked me on my Instagram, YouTube, revolving around permanent residency in Canada. I'm going to share all about my journey that I went through from Australia to Canada, how I got my permanent residency, the whole process and everything. We'll get to the little bits and pieces of details. So stay tuned, and before everything else, welcome to my channel. I am Akanksha, this is Globetrotting Heels, and I make videos all about my life and travels. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do it right now. And stay tuned, we are going to talk all about permanent residency in Canada. So my journey started in 2017 when I moved to Australia to study and pursue my masters, and then I stayed there for 2 years to pursue work on a temporary residency, which is the post-study graduate work visa. You can find out all about that in another video, like one of these places. I can never get it right, but I have made a full video about my journey in Australia, so watch that if you want to get the background story. And if you have already watched that, let's move on. So in short, in Australia I wanted to stay permanently, but the permanent residency was not looking like a bright future for me or for any other international students for that matter, and I knew I had to have a backup plan. So Canada was my plan B. So for me, I always have a plan B, and I would have a plan B of the plan B. So I always have something in store if things don't work out or things don't go my way. And thank God I did, because if I had not applied for permanent residency in Canada, I would be still struggling in Australia and switching from temporary visa to temporary visa. So like, I don't know what struck me, and I applied for the residency, but I did, and I'm so glad I did. And while we are on the topic of studying abroad, let me share with you a super useful tool I came across in the last days, and it is going to make your studying abroad journey a very smooth one. Meet Amber. Well, Amber is not a person, obviously. It is a platform to find affordable, safe and secure student accommodation in a foreign country. And you'll ask me now, that isn't for a student accommodation expensive? Well, it is a little bit, but let me tell you why I always suggest someone going abroad to study to go for student accommodation. Let me share my personal experience. When I moved to study in Australia, I stayed at student accommodation for 1 whole year. I made friends from all over the world, made lifelong networks, understood different cultures, and I had a safe and secure place to enjoy and experience independent life outside of my home country. Most importantly, I was relieved that the place I'm staying at is safe and secure. I'm not scammed, and if I had any issues, then I would put it up to the management and they would sort it out within days. And this is the reason why I always encourage and suggest that whoever's moving abroad for the first time as a student should go for student accommodation for their initial days at least. Amber Student Accommodation has made accessing such places even more easier, with housing available in more than 250 cities across the world, including cities in major countries where students go for studying, like Australia, Canada, UK, Ireland, USA, you name it, they have it. All you need to do is go on their website, type in your city, and see the list of accommodations available. You can also shortlist it, see what amenities are available, and see how much the distance is from your university to the accommodation in their map feature. It is an amazing tool for someone who is looking to go to a new country to study and start their new life, and what's better than having a safe and reliable place to stay at. So once I graduated from Macquarie University, I had a master's degree and I was working in retail with Witchery. So when I was doing my process in Australia, I knew it might not go my way, so I searched about a few options and I came across Canada's Express Entry, and I thought, okay, this could be a good option for me, because if I want to stay overseas, it's either Australia or some other country, and Canada looked promising. So in 2019 I decided that okay, I will put that as option B and lodge my application, and then just go through with the process and see how it turns out. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't, so but there's no harm in applying. So that's what I did. Oh, and just to give you a context, so I applied with a common law partner, and it is a couple application. So everything that I will be telling you is all about 2 people in same application. When I was applying for Canadian permanent residency, I had no clue about the process. I had no clue how to start with. I did not know anyone who was applying. I was probably the first person in my friend group to apply for Canada, and that's why I decided to select an agent, an immigration agent. And if you ask me today, I wouldn't suggest to get an immigration agent because Canada's permanent residency application and the process is so easy and so simple that you can do it by yourself if you just invest some time in researching about it. I did not, and I ended up looking and booking an agent, and it wasn't the right choice, I feel, because they charge a lot of money and they do not aid in your application apart from doing the paperwork and uploading the documents, and that too is maybe not the most accurate. They might miss a few things or two. They handle a lot of people, so I feel you can only take care of your own application in the best way possible. I looked around at a few places in Sydney and chose one agent there, and I paid about $3,500 for both of us. And what they were doing was that they were looking after the whole process, and I just had to submit my documents to them. To start with, I paid an advance to them and I got a checklist of documents, which are these things, and she asked me that I need to submit these things to her so she can do an assessment and also pull out my CRS score, and then she will tell me how to proceed further and what is the best pathway for me to go ahead with. Yeah, I agree, this was like very helpful, but again, you can do it by yourself. But before we start the process, we needed to nominate an occupation, which was NOC code. Now it's changing to tier system, but I had chosen 6211 retail store supervisor NOC code because I had a lot of experience in retail and it was amounting up to about 1 year of full-time work experience, and I had other experiences which I could put up as secondary experience. So yes, my primary occupation was 6211 NOC. And after that, we needed 2 more documents to start the process: IELTS score and Canadian equivalency credential. So in September 2019, I had sent my master's degree from Australia to World Education Services, which is WES, which is degree assessing body in Canada. And while they were assessing my education, I was going to appear for the IELTS exam back in Sydney. I had scored 8.5 in reading, 8 in listening, 8 in speaking, and 7 in writing. So that was a good score, isn't it? And once this was done, I was just waiting for my WES, which did not come as planned. Normally WES takes about 2 to 4 weeks to come, but well, my situation is always very unique. And my degree's name was so different from anything you get here in Canada that they took a long time. Finally, after a long wait, I got my WES approved and my degree assessed in November 2019, and this is when I was ready to lodge my PR application. And once we had everything, all the documents required to file an application, I sent it to my agent and we filled out the form on IRCC's portal, created a GCKey and submitted my expression of interest. Yay! This was in December 2019, and I had also nominated retail sales supervisor I had also gone for PNP nomination in Alberta for retail sales supervisor, which was an open occupation that time, and also got in the pool for express entry federal skills workers program. This was December 2019, and then I thought that okay, I have low CRS scores, so I'm not sure how it's gonna work out, so I was also not paying much attention to it. I had basically forgotten about it after the expression of interest was lodged. Then came COVID, I got a new job, I updated it on my profile, and my partner also got his skill assessed and his IELTS score updated, so we updated that on the profile as well. And basically it was just something that was happening in the background, and I was trying for my PR in Australia. This was when COVID hit and Canada had stopped draws for options for express entry, all programs or PNP draws. So I was like, I don't know if it's gonna happen or when it will happen. So Canada was just a sound in the background. And one fine day during COVID, we were in lockdown. I was working from home remotely, and I got an email saying that I have a message from IRCC in my GCKey account. And I was like, I emailed my agent saying that I've got a message and this is the email I got. Can you just check what's there and what's happening? Do they need something from us? Or have my profile expired? Do I need to submit another profile? What's happening? And guess what happened? We had got an invite. This was September 2020. exactly 1 year after I had decided to start my process, and within I think 9 to 10 months of lodging an expression of interest, I had gotten an invite to apply for permanent residency in Canada. I was pretty delighted. I was very surprised, to be honest, because I had no clue that this was happening. I had actually given up hope in Canada because I was thinking like my CRS score is so low, I don't think it's gonna happen, or if it happens, it's gonna take a lot of time. But it happened, and I got an invite under all programs draw of Federal Skilled Workers Express Entry, and this was like even better. I didn't need to wait for PNP nomination, and that's when I realized, yes, things are working out for me, and Canada could be a real option for me. My happiness just went above and beyond I could expect, because exploring a new country, living in a new country, that's what I live for. So this was very exciting for me, and my other visa in Australia was also coming to an end, so it felt like this was meant to be and things were falling into place. Can you guess what were my points when I got the invite? It was 473. How? Even I was shocked. So apparently, because I was working 2 jobs and I had a full-time job, it all accumulated to be 3 years just before I got the invite. And when I got 3 years of work experience updated on my profile, I got additional points, and 3 years work ex is 50 points FYI, and the scores totaled up to 473. So what next? Well, we got a certain date until which we had to finalize our application and submit all the documents, and I got up to speed to collect everything and upload them. So I had to submit bank statements, job reference letters, pay slips, income tax returns, police check, and I don't know what not, and multiple IRCC forms that were so long and time consuming that I was like, I can't do this anymore. But we got them, and we had also applied for medicals, so we appeared for medicals, both of us, and got that sheet as well, and uploaded everything on November 26, 2020. I will always remember this date because what followed was a nightmare. Well, the nightmare didn't start instantly because I got my biometrics request in January, which was pretty quick, and I gave my biometrics in Jan, and then I thought, it's just 6 months, I'll be in Canada, and you know, the process is smooth, everything's going so good, there's nothing to worry about, right? But no, life had other plans for me. And we got hit by another wave of COVID, so you can imagine lockdowns, border closures, and Canada had stopped processing all offshore applications for an indefinite period of time. That period of time when everything was on pause was very, very difficult for us, because it was such a time when my Australian visa was coming to an end and nothing was happening on the Canadian side, and I was like, I don't know what to do. It's such a difficult time. I was anxious. I was trying to find out timelines of people who had applied at the same time as me, and this is when I also came across a few Facebook groups which really helped me keep my sanity. But yes, that time when everything was on pause was very, very stressful, and I was praying every single day that something happens and my application gets processed as soon as possible. But you know, when things started to get back on track, February 2022, my application was on pause for almost 1 year, and it was, I don't know, that feeling is unexplainable, and I don't think I would want to go through that 1 whole year again. That was probably my worst time. So a lot of my time was spent raising multiple web forms, calling IRCC customer service, and trying to get an idea of what is happening. But I always got the same answer. Applications are on pause and we are having delays due to COVID. And I was not able to get any kind of answer about where is my application, what's happening, or what's the status, when can I expect an answer. It was a very stressful time. But yeah, thankfully in February 2022, we could see some progress happening in different applications, not on mine. And I saw that Canada had started processing offshore applications again, which was a little bit of a relief. And we thought to do some movement in my application, we should go for another upfront medicals because ours had expired. So we went to Canberra on a day trip to go for upfront medicals again, and submitted that via a web form to IRCC. And I don't know if that was it or something else, our application came back on track. We saw some movement, and then I think a couple of months later we got an a request to upload additional documents. So police check, a Schedule A web form, and then the last thing. I called one last time to IRCC to ask about my application, I think in April or May or something, and they said it's very close to getting approved. So that's when we knew that we had to pack up and get ready to say goodbye to Australia and start our journey towards Canada. So we had like decided everything, and the first time we got a request to submit our passport was somewhere in May. And then we decided that, okay, let's go home, visit our families, and then we submit our passports from there to get our passports stamped and move over to Canada. So we left Australia, and all of that videos are all made and uploaded in my YouTube channel. You can check it out. But after that, we went to our own countries, submitted our passports again. Finally, in July, we had our passport stamped and we were ready to go. We had our COPR, we had our application approved in our portal, in GCKey, and everything was finalized. So the whole process took just a little less than 2 years from ITA to getting our COPR. And wow, what a journey it was. Full of stress, full of prayers, full of anxiety and whatnot. I think COVID just came and stepped on our PR process, and we couldn't do anything about it. We moved out of Australia in June, visited our families, then we came to Canada in Toronto in August, and finally we also got our PR card in October. So the PR card took just over 2 months and everything's done. I'm a permanent resident in Canada, and I am just so happy to say that. And I'm back home and ready to answer your questions. And firstly, ignore the mess behind me because my stuff from Australia just came through and I haven't had the time to organize and put it in place. But moving on, a few weeks ago I asked you all on my Instagram to ask me questions about permanent residency or my express entry process and everything, and I got some very good questions and I'm here to answer them. Okay, the first one is, do you regret moving to Canada at all? Well, no, because it's a different world, it's a different city, it's a different experience, and I'm all about experiences in life. I want to see places, travel, experience different things, learn new cultures, see new cities, and this is just part of it. My time in Australia was obviously amazing. Sydney is what I still call home, and I am still connected to Australia in every way possible, but this is a new experience and I'm enjoying it. I don't regret any part of it. Next one is, how did you send your money from Australia to Canada? Remitly, etc. Best value. So I'm using Wise, which I recently came across, and it's a great money transfer platform. I get amazing rates and the fees is also very less, and it's super safe. Next one. Okay, I get a lot of these questions where people ask me about courses in Australia or Canada. Like this one, PG diploma in Canada versus MBA in Adelaide, which is better for career in management. I don't know. Whatever I share here is my personal experience. I'm not an agent. I am not a qualified person to advise you about where you should go, what you should do. It's a personal choice dependent on a lot of things, including financials, what you want to study, your future prospects, job opportunities, a lot of things. And asking me or any other person who is not qualified to give these advices, you're putting your future at stake. So if you want these advices, I would rather say go to someone who is actually qualified to advise you on these things, like ITP. ITP is a certified organization that can help you with your career needs and education needs. IDP is a certified organization that can help you with your overseas education needs and all questions. So go there, ask them. Don't ask random bloggers. They are not going to help you out. And there is one very popular question. Is it possible to move to Canada from India with PR? If yes, then how? the process is same for every single country. It doesn't change for Australia or India or any other country for that matter. So you can move to Canada from any country you like using the same process that everyone goes through. Actually, they have got a lot of different PR pathways, so you are sorted. Just go online, search for it and see which fits you best. And there was one more question, that is what fees are included. I made a whole video about how much I spent for this whole move from Sydney to Toronto, and it's all somewhere around here, so go check it out if you want to know all about the fees. In total, just as an idea, I spent 26,000 Canadian dollars for the big move. Know all about it in the video somewhere around here. Okay, there were a couple of questions for Australia versus Canada. I am going to make a video, but I want to experience this city more, and I'm not going to make a video about Australia versus Canada because you cannot judge the whole country based on one city. So I will do a Toronto versus Sydney, and I will tell you all about my experiences. Again, these are not statistical numbers or facts that I will be sharing. I'll share my personal experiences, but a video for that is coming very, very soon. And the last question was the nitty-gritty of express entry process. This is what the video was all about. So if you are until here, you know what happened and how the process went through and what I did and everything. So yeah, these were the details. Everything I could share, I shared here. And if you have any other questions, you know where to go in the comment box and ask me. I'll try and answer whatever I can. But yeah, don't ask me like which country is better, where you should study, what you should do. I can't tell you about that. I will not tell you about that because it's like your future at stake, and I don't want to like be that person who misguides you. But yes, these were all the questions, and if you have any more, do let me know on my Instagram or YouTube, and I will answer all of that. And if you want me to do a Q&A video, let me know all in the comment box, so I'll be very happy to do that. So everything that happened from February till August was so fast, and I was like, it is going too quickly, and I was just going with the flow and doing things as quickly as possible because I wanted to move here. And the excitement to move, the excitement to see a new country, live in a new place and see the other side of the world was so amazing and exciting and so bigger than anything else that I don't even feel like I can't process everything that has happened in these past few months. Like, life has changed, everything has changed. We have left our comfort zone, we have left our friends, our families, and it's a new country, it's a new city, and it's just so nice. I am absorbing every day as it comes, and I also advise anyone new to come in and come with an open mind. This is a new city, it will be very different. You will be put out of your comfort zone, but this is the essence of life. Like, you get out of your comfort zone and you understand things about yourself, and I'm so glad I moved here. I was not liking the city at first, but I love it right now because it's so beautiful, and it's every day is a new experience and is a new beginning of something amazing. And I am so glad I chose to move here. Who knows, I might be somewhere else in the next 5 years, but I'm enjoying the move.